You heard it. The moment Kiao Wanyan stepped out of the study, she snorted. Shenqing heard it too, turning back with interest to see the crown prince. A Savia's lies stiff and stunned expression, a playful smile flashing across his lips. Interesting. The flowers along Evergreen River are beautiful. Now, how about we go boating there tomorrow? His voice faded. Yu closed his eyes, took a deep breath, then bowed his head to continue reading the memorial. Asterisk smack. Asterisk moments later, he slammed the memorial to the ground, sending it flying a zong away and shattering the steady silence. The Waterways Commissioner, a court official, dares to embezzle and line his own pockets. Send the supervisor to investigate. Immediately. Go at once. Jinyuan nodded. Yes, Your Highness. When His Highness got angry, the supervisor got busy. What time should it pick up? Second miss for boating tomorrow? Can we not invite the young Marquis and that toppy 3 scholars? Kia Wanyan stepped on the carriage stool, looking at him like he was filth. No? Shenqing raised an eyebrow. Then when shall we depart? She boarded the carriage, her voice drifting out lazily. When I wake up. As for when that would be, how should she know? Shenqing didn't her usual wake-up time, but assuming noble ladies rose early to serve their parents breakfast, he waited at the minister's mansion. Gated on, he waited until noon. When the gate finally reopened, Kia Wanyan emerged slowly, leaning on Ziyuan Shan. She was stunningly dressed today, clearly having spent much time primping. Her plum green cloud, gauzy feathers, robe fluttered nimbly, its color like tender buds after spring rain, exuding vibrant life. Her brows were painted like ink, her face exquisitely ethereal, skin snow, white with a faint pink flush, like blooming peach blossoms. In March, even without as miles, she was breathtaking. Shenqing knew her smile would outshining heaven and earth unconsciously. His lips curved. His gaze on her was filled with absolute admiration and a deep, urgent desire to treasure and admire her slowly. Miss Second, you are beautiful. Another such compliment from anyone else, Kia Wanyan would have smugly acknowledged their good taste. But from Shenqing, it made her skin crawl. But she was afraid. This was the capital, not Shenqing's territory. Since he delivered himself to her today, she couldn't blamed for retaliating and teasing him. Kiao Chuksu had come out with her, arriving early that morning. She hadn't wanted to, but Yulang though Kiao Chu Zhu had felt unwell recently. She'd forced herself to come. Lately, she often felt nauseous and vomited. Yulang, thoughtful of her reputation, had invited a doctor from out of town to treat her. While the herbs helped, she still couldn't always control it. Yulang was right. If her parents found out she was pregnant before marriage, they might tolerate Yulang, but it was unlikely. Her family had already accepted the Zhongwu generals' betrothal gifts. If this got out, her parents might use their power to force Yulang's family out of the capital and found a way to make her lose the baby, lying that she was seriously ill and sending her to the countryside. But if Yulang and Kia Wanyan had a physical relationship, Uncle would surely be reluctant to send Kia Wanyan away, like tolerating Yulang and letting him marry her. Then, with Kia Wanyan setting a precedent, her chance of begging her parents and uncle to let Yulang took her aside as wife would be high. She knew the details. If they refused, or if uncle didn't resolve, the Zhongwu general's smart greater than she does Kia Wanyan's premarital pregnancy as leverage. What did being a side wife matter? if she could be with Yu Lang, as long as she was by his side. Yesterday, she'd overheard a minister's mansion page go in to Jing'an Marquis Estate and learned Qiao Wanyan had invited the young Marquis, the top 3 scholars, and the Xiling Prince to boat today. Hence, she'd come early to join them on Evergreen River. She and Yu Lang had planned all night to bring together Qiao Wanyan and Yu Lang today. Yu Lang was so talented, Qiao Wanyan would sure be interested. With a little understanding, no one could refuse such a passionate gentleman. Qiao Chuxu felt bitter, but for a future with Yu Lang, she'd do anything. Yu Lang wouldn't fail her, so how could she disappoint him? Zhang Qian and Zhu Shujian arrived just in time, not waiting half a day like Shenqing. They hadn't known the departure time, but had Ta Sitli arrived together based on their impression of Qiao Wanyan. Zhang Qian leaned on the window frame without alighting, squinting lazily. This young master didn't want to agree, but I was bored today, so I came. Consider yourself lucky to boat with me. Zhu Shujian spoke gently. Thank you for the invitation. Second miss, I'm a nerd. Evergreen River is beautiful. I have to paint you on the boat, which will sure be better than the last 2. Qiao Wanyan smiled. Then, I'll trouble you today, Shenqing. Then I'd have the honor to witness it. She'd sent for Zhu Shujian yesterday, asking him to paint her on the boat. His paintings were the best she'd ever seen. What woman didn't want to preserve her most beautiful moments? Zhang Qian clicked his tongue, glaring at Zhu Shujian. So he could paint? Big deal. So he could flatter? Big deal. 2 pretentious fools. Shenqing turned to look at Zhang Qian, then Zhu Shujian. 2 annoying people. Zhu Shujian remained composed. 2 idiots. The Evergreen River boat dock belongs to the Jin family, the largest, finest boat there was always moored, cleaned daily, and never rented out. It was reserved for Qiao Wanyan on the orders of Imperial Merchant Elder. Jin only Qiao Wanyan and her mother could use it, not even Minister Qiao. As a son in a law, Qiao Chuzu stood staring at the luxurious yet elegant understated boat, unable to recover. This was the boat Qiao Wanyan had mentioned. Qiao Wanyan led the way. By the time Qiao Chuzu snapped out of it, prompted by her maid, the others had already boarded. She hurried after them, knowing Qiao Wanyan's nature. If she just stayed below, the boat might have left without her, and Qiao Wanyan would never have it returned. As the boat sailed, Qiao Wanyan went to the deck, looking at the distant rolling mountains and lush riverside springs. Her mood lifting, she turned to Zhang Qian, smiling. Zhang Qian's ears reddened inexplicably, his gaze avoiding hers as he said awkwardly, "W, what are you looking at?" Qiao Wanyan waved him off. "Move." Zhang Qian paused, glancing at Zhu Shujian behind him, his ears reddening further. With a mix of shame and anger, Zhu Shujian, "Do you think this view is nice?" Zhu Shujian smiled amiably at Zhang Qian, then replied, "The background is indeed good, but you remember a place ahead with grass like velvet, and a flower seas. If second, Miss doesn't mind the trouble, we can disembark there to paint." Qiao Chuzu sheared settled. She'd been about too. Suggested docking at the flower sea. Qiao Wanyan, eager to capture the most beautiful scene, didn't mind the trouble. She spent half an hour each night caring for her skin. She never spared time for beauty. Zhu Shujian spoke polite and respected fully, without an ounce of flattery, with the shared topic of painting. The other 3 were mere foils. Zhang Qian pretended not to care, leaning on a lounger with a random dog-tailed grass in his mouth, hands behind his head as he basked in the sun. His bright red robe, embroidered with golden thread, shimmed magnificently in red. The warm light, now and then. He'd open one eye to look at the two ahead, huffing and closing it again to enjoy the sun. Shenxing sat in a chair beside Zhang Qian, ignoring him to watch the distant figures. On the other side, Lu Jingyu sat on the waist-high boat railings, back against a pillar, one leg dangling as he lazily hugged his sword and looked at the scenery. Suddenly, he turned his gaze to Zhang Qian and Shenxing, observing their subtle expressions before. Focusing on their faces, they were prettier than the scenery. It was annoying to be uncomfortable alone. But if everyone was uncomfortable, he felt better. Qiao Chuxu stood quietly, looking at Qiao Wanyan's profile with cold eyes. No trace of the amiable demeanor she'd shown before a maiden chatting so freely with men, well, not unheard of in Deu. Women should hold up the 3 obediences and 4 virtues such unvirtuous woman wasn't worthy of. Yu Lang, he was wrong-ed to want her. Qiao Chuxu approached Ziyuan, who had eyes only for her missing, holding out small bags of canned fruits she DPCD. That morning, she popped them into her mouth one by one, stopping when she noticed Qiao Chuzu main lie because she didn't want to share. These dyed fruits were precious. Sent by Miss Grandfather in Yangju, Miss had given them to her after losing interest. Miss Chuxu. Qiao Chuxu said softly Ziyuan. It seems second Miss is close to Master Zhu. Have they met often before? If so, she'd have to warn Yu Lang to guard against her. Cheating after marriage, it would shame him. Ziyuan shook her head. Rarely. Not familiar. Just 6 simple words. Nothing more. Ziyuan remembered. The more she said, the more she might err about Miss. She should talk less and keep quiet. Qiao Chuzu wasn't discouraged. Iz it hard. Master Zhu is painting for second Miss. He must have done to before. When can I have the honor to see them? Are they in Yonging Pavilion? Ziyuan. Maybe Rehavi a bod memory. Should I ask Miss later? Qiao Chuzu smiled. No need. I'll ask her later. Enjoy your snacks. The girl was so dull, trying to. Getting information from her was impossible. Suddenly, Qiao Chuxu felt a surge of nausea, turning to cover her mouth and vomiting. Qiao Wanyan noticed and walked over, frowning. Upset stomach? The others looked over. Qiao Chuxu. Guilty turned pale and shook her head violently. It's nothing, just a bod breakfast. I'll have some hot tea. Qiao Wanyan dismissed it. Then go in and have some if it doesn't get better. We'll go back when we dock. It was unlucky that she come despite being unwell. Qiao Chuxu nodded, entering the cabin to sit by the window, her hands shaking as she held the hot tea. She felt a confused mix of emotions, eager to see Yu Lang, yet heartbroken that he'd worked so hard for their future. As the boat docked, Qiao Wanyan prepared to disembarking with Ziyuan. Zhu Shujian remained on the deck, still looking scholarly and elegant. But now, Zhang Qian and Shenxing both thought his corner. The smile of the mouth looked rather proud. How could anything be proud? Since boarding, Qiao Wanyan had only spoken to Zhu Shujian, discussing poses that would look best. In the painting, where there was joy, there was unhappiness. Zhang Qian suddenly said, Amanetta should be proficient in both civil and military affairs. You look too weak to carry anything. You might even get sore arms from holding a brush too long. Zhu Shujian smiled. Thank you for your concern, young Marquis. Sore arms for second Miss RN. Honor, you Ray too fortunate too. Even experience this suffering. Zhang Qiyan's mocking smile froze. That bastard. Zhu Shujian spoke softly and harmlessly, but his tone was so sarcastic. Shenqing's voice came from afar. The stairs are slippery. Second miss, if you don't mind, take my arm to disembark. Scram. All right. The spring sunlight pours gently onto the water, creating a shimmering expanses of graceful colors. Kia Wanyan stepped off the boat slowly, leaning on Ziyuan Shand. A breeze swept over, carrying the fresh scent of earth and the rich fragrance of flowers. Kia Wanyan looked ahead. Beyond the river bank stretched boundless, expanse of green grass, countless flowers. In vibrant hues bloomed competitively, forming a splendid sea of blossoms. Further ahead, the rolling mountains resembled a magnificent inkwash painting, a breathtaking scroll sketched by nature spooled, yet between delicate brushes. Heaven and earth behind them. A broad river like agent mirrors reflected the sky. Clouds and golden sunlight, schools of fish swam as birds skimmed the water, overflowing with the vibrant life bestowed by nature. Such a scene could never been seen within the city. Missing this place is beautiful. We haven't gone boating in years. Who knew we'd miss such scenery? Ziyu An exclaimed. Kia Wanyan smiled. Indeed, we've truly failed to appreciate this beauty. Paintings here would be evening, more stunning than on the boat. Zhang Qiyun stopped beside her with a snort. Look, at you too, so uncultured, this tiny flower sea is. Nothing, 10 li east of the city. There is a flower sea several times. Larger, that is still beautiful. Kia Wanyan turned to look at him. Is that so? Then I'll ask the crown prince to take me there. Someday, she lifted her skirts and walked away. Zhang Qian, second miss? A surprised male voice rang out. Everyone turned to see a man in a yang green robe holding a small hammer, accompanied by an unremarkable page framed together. The green-robed man looked extremely handsome. Kiao Chuzu's flickered with astonishment as she struggled to contain her affection. Yu Lang, so beautiful. Are you young Master Zhou, the son of the Yunjian Yanxi shopkeeper? Kiao Chuxu composed herself. Zhou Yu nodded. Yes, Kiao Chuxu. I've seen you a few times at Yun. Jian Yanxi, what are you doing here? Zhou Yu glanced at the swing beside him. Ihard, there is a beautiful flower sea here. My father said it's my mother's birthday in a few days, so he asked me to build a swing here. She loves swings. Kia Wanyan observed that the swing was woven with vine flower ropes wrapped around a wood end frame. Incredibly beautiful. Zhou Yu smiled. My father says the scenery here is splendid. He plans to have my mother sitting on this swing while he pushes her. Then the family will sit on the grass and enjoy food. From Mingyu Tower, it's a great pleasure in life. Kia Wanyan's glazed eyes blinked. Sounded nice and fun. She turned to Lu Jin Yiyu. Lu Jin Yiyu, go to Mingyu Tower in the city and buy some food. Ask Suntian to make more osmanthus cakes. Then bring them back. Lu Jinyu was Kia Wanyan's guard, but he was notoriously disobedient. He de-risked everything to protect her safety. But in daily life, he selectively defied orders. I didn't want to. It protects you. Not running errands. The sun was dazzling, and Lu Jinyu squinted as he refused her order unhurried lie. Zhou Yu sized up the high ponytailed youth. He didn't look like a bodyguard, more like a kept, pretty boy. The guards he'd seen with young masters and ladies were most light-tanned, burly men weathered from martial arts training, but this youth, though tall, was fair-skinned and slender. Looking so frail that evening, he, a non-martial artist, could probably thrash him. Zhou Yu inwardly like DTHIS spoiled youth. He must be second Miss Zhou's skept man. Otherwise, why disobey his master? Ordinary guards wouldn't dare, unchased. She was no match for Chuzu in that regard, but for his grand plan, he could endure. Kia Wanyan walked up to Lu Jin Yiyu, and asterisk slapped asterisk. Zhu Shujian watched calm lie. Zhang Qian snickered, and even Shen Qing opened his mouth in surprise. Zhou Yu's subconscious lie touched at his own face. So, fierce. Would she hit him after marriage? Lu Jinyu looked delicate, but he was tough. Kia Wanyan's hand stung from the slap, yet he barely reacted. Sporting a clear handprint, as he said flat lie, "It doesn't hurt." Zhang Qian clicked his tongue. Really? Or are you enduring it for face? Lu Jinyu said casually, "When my master hits me, it's like a tickle." He looked directly at her as he spoke. Zhang Qian, "Kia Wanyan, did you skip breakfast? If you rate too weak, want me to help?" Kia Wanyan slapped him too, then turned back. "Your skin is itchy too." Huh, Zhang Qian's face changed as he coughed and explained, "She's joking. I've never let her hit me." The explanation only made everyone look at him with even more meaningful glances. The Jing and Marquis Estate's little devil king. Hit by second Miss Zhou? Why are you all looking at me? I really haven't let her hit me. I'm a man. Would I let a woman hit me? Zhang Qian raised his voice to protest, but the more he explained, the worse it got. So defensive. He must have been hit. Kiao Chuksu looked at the young Marquis, then Kiao Wanyan, then worried Lia Zhou Yu. Would she hit Yu Lang after they married? No? Definitely not, Zhang Qian insisted. Lu Jinyu drawled. Whatever makes you happy. You. Zhang Qian glared at him. Noise. Kiao Wanyan snapped in disgust. If you don't go, I won't give you the antidote. Lu Jinyu raised an eyebrow. If my master wants me dead, I'll take her with me. Besides, they're no horse. Does my master wants me to walk back? Zhang Qian now hating this wretch. Threatened if you don't go, I'll reveal your secret. Lu Jinyu's face changed. If you do, then if my master wants it, I can go buy the food. Lu Jinyu obedient stole Zhou Yu shorts and left. Zhou Yu didn't want to lend his horse to this pretty boy, but to appear generous in front of Kiao Wanyan. He agreed. Kiao Wanyan glanced at Ziyuan and the swing. So Ziyuan approached Zhou Yu with a silver ingot. My miss wants to borrow yours. Swing. This is airward. Zhou Yu was surprised by the silver ingot. Was this too much? Last time at the restaurant, he'd received a silver and a gold ingot. Ordinary tips were just a few taels. This was wasteful. No need. Second miss. Feel free to use it. It is no big deal. Ziyuan tossed the ingot into his arms. Proud. Take the reward. This is a transaction, not a favor. My missing is of noble status. How could she owe you a favor? Zhou Yu was stunned. Well, all right. He'd wanted second Miss Zhou to owe him a favor for future meetings. On the Evergreen River, another boat sailed. On the deck, Yu stood at the front with his hands behind his back. The sun was harsh, and he squinted ahead. His nobles, otherworld life face exud at innate dignity and the composure of aerialers. But deep down, he was far from calm. The court officials behind him sighed inwardly. His Highness truly had leisure now. They'd been busy for days, and this was a chance to relax, discussing court. Affairs on a boat not only blocked prying eyes, but also allowed them to enjoy the scenery. His Highness was indeed far-sighted. Jinyuan followed Yu's gaze to the boat. Docked ahead, he recognized it. The docking workers said it belonged to second Miss Zhou. No one else could use it. Most likely, she and her party had docked to play. Jinyuan had an idea. Your Highness, shall we dock? The boat is bumpy, and it would be quieter for you and the officials to talk on shore. Someone behind him was confused. The boat is very stable, not bumpy. Yes, there are boats docked, and I see people on shore. We're discussing military affairs. If someone disturbs or overhears, it would be bad. One of them looks like the young Marquis of Jing, an estate most like Lai noble youths and ladies on a spring outings. They must be noisy. How can Your Highness docked with such accommodation? The boat was far away, so you couldn't see the faces in the flower sea, but he could tell one figure was Qiao Wanyan. She'd said she was boating with Shenqing and Zhang Qian, but there were both men and women here. More than just the three. His expression shifted. It's noisy below. No need to dock. Jinyuan said him to be clever had failed. He must have guessed wrong. His Highness was in there to encounter second miss, but to discuss matters quietly with officials. Yes, Your Highness dislikes noise. This servant spoke out of turn. In the distance, Qiao Wanyan sat on the swing. Joe, you immediately wanted to push her, but a breeze swept past before he could react. A scholarly gentleman passed by. May I push second miss? Shenqing didn't compete with Zhu Shujian. Su Fei had somehow brought a chair from the boat and placed it. Diago Nally swung at the opposite. A safe distance, Shenqing sat there, propping his head on one hand resting on the armrest, fanning gently with the others above him. Su Fei held an umbrella to block the sun. Now Shenqing sees meds to be peacefully admiring of fine paintings, detached from the world. Except this painting was real, not the lifeless ones he usually collected. The corners of his mouth lifted, as if lost in his own world. But beneath the satisfied smile lurked a hint of madness and possessiveness. Such a beautiful paintings should be collected and treasured. His eyes gradually took on a sickly hue. At some thought, they lit up and his smile grew deeper. Qiao Chuxu approached Master Zhu. Second miss is a woman, was it improper for you to push her? After all, men and women should be distinct. Zhu Shujian remained calm and retorting lightly. I'm just pushing a swing for seconds. Miss, aren't you over a worrying Miss Zhou? Qiao Chuxu said earnestly, though Deu isn't overly strict about gender segregation. Gender propriety should still be observed. Second miss is unmarried. Wouldn't her future husband being upset to know? Qiao Wanyan frowned. It's just pushing a swings. What's the fuss? I'm only looking out for you. Qiao Chuzu forced as miles. Qiao Wanyan wasn't buying it. Stop lecturing me. In the name of looking out for me. Qiao Chuzu's smile faltered. Suddenly nauseous, she turned and hurried to the side, leaning on her maid to retch. Zhou Yu glanced at her, but quickly turned back to Qiao Wanyan, though second miss was avid proud. She was indeed the most beautiful woman in the capital for such a face. A proud temperament was even charming. Zhou Yu smiled. Has Master Zhu ever sat on a swing? Zhu Shujian said flatly no. Zhou Yu stepped closer. Master Zhu is Asholer. I exercise daily and am stronger than you. Let me do this tiring job. Qiao Wanyan frowned. What do you mean? Are you saying I'm heavy? First Qiao Chuxu. Now this fool, ruining her mood one after another. Zhou Yu said any no in a hurry. Second miss, please don't misunderstand. Zhang Qian provoked, why are you scared? Such a coward. Qiao Wanyan. He's telling the truth. Why get upset? Can't take the truth? Zhu Shujian said gently second miss. Don't listen to the young Marquis. You're very light. Not heavy at all. Zhang Qian couldn't take it anymore. The satisfaction from earlier with Lu Jin Yi was gone. Are you done? Every time I tease her, you compliment her, deliberately opposing me. Ha, Zhu Shujian replied composedly. I'm just telling the truth. Second miss. Am I wrong? Qiao Wanyan rolled her eyes. Coral, you're chasing away all the good fortune. Shut up, all of you. Ziwan immediately put the canned dyed fruits back into the small bag and hurried over. Master Zhu, let me push. You go rest and enjoy the scenery. Seeing this, Zhu Shujian didn't insist further. He had only wanted to be considerate and offered to push second, missing on the swing before others did. If he's stubborn, Lai refused to leave now that the maid had stepped in. He would only invite annoyance. One must be tactful to avoid being disliked. Zhu Shujian returned to the boat to fetch his painting tools. Zhang Qiyan snorted to show his displeasure, but that was all. He didn't dare say more. This wasn't cowardice, or so he convinced himself. Ziwan push higher. Ziwan applied some force, but didn't dare. Overdid it. Her missing was of noble status. She could entrisk her miss losing her grip on the ropes and flying off because of a moment's carelessness. If that happened, her miss would flay half her skin, and she wouldn't be able to eat pork knuckles. After all, greasy food was off limits during recovery. Qiao Wanyan cast aside a long glance at the river and saw that the boat she had noticed earlier hadn't docked. Instead, it sailed past the river bank and away. She quietly withdrew her gaze, though too far to see the figures on the deck. She was certain the crown prince was on board. Why so certain? Because she had ordered the dock that only 2 boats were allowed on Evergreen River today. Hers and another that could only set sail if the crown prince was aboard. Otherwise, it would be claimed that all boats were under maintenance. A playful smile flickered across Qiao Wanyan's lips. He must have seen her at the city gate the other day, and he must have noticed Zhu Shujian's writing tools during the imperial examination. Otherwise, his face would they've darkened so obvious lie when he heard Zhu Shujian's name in the Eastern Palace. Study subconscious reactions couldn't hidden, since he was upset and deliberately ignoring her. Let's see who would cave first. She didn't believe the crown prince's boat would pass by and miss her like this. If he could resist, he wouldn't peer today. He had never come to Evergreen River before. Qiao Wanyan's smile spreads recklessly, as bright as a pearl. Her waterfall of hair rose and fell with the swing, bathed in the sun's glow, making her seem like a goddess come to life from a painting. Shen Qing stared at her smile, his eyes fixed, then broke into a sickly, frenzy-ed grin. Zhou Yu was also transfixed, though his plan to marry Miss Second Zhou was to climb the social ladder and change the fate of the Zhou family for generations. In this moment, he truly wanted to marry such a peerless beauty from the bottom of his heart. Even if she had a proud and domineering temper, he was willing to endure it. Qiao Chuxu frowned at Zhou Yu's reaction, then lowered her eyes to admonish herself. This was just an act for their future. He had sworn under heaven to love only her, vowing to be struck by lightning if he ever were. Trade her. How could she have doubled for a moment that Yu Lang was attracted to Qiao Wanyan after such a vicious oath? She was so wrong. The distance from their starting point to Mingyu Tower wasn't far, only a half incense sticks. Ride on horse's back after ordering signatures, dishes at Mingyu Tower, and having them carefully packed. Lu Jinyu returned to the minister's mansion to ask Sun Tian to prepare osmanthus cakes. Coincidentally, Sun Tian had just taken a plate out of the oven, saying she didn't when second miss would return and wanted her to have hot, fresh osmanthus cakes. Lu Jinyi tucked the plate into his arms to keep it warm, then rode back to Mingyu Tower. On the way, however, Lu Jinyi saw a familiar figure outside Jing'an Marquis Estate. "You should remember me. I'm Zhao Ying, the personal maid of the eldest miss of the Minister of Revenue's mansion. I really have something urgent to see the young Marquis. Please do me the favor of announcing me." The gatekeeper page was annoyed. "I've told you, the young Marquis isn't at home today. Would illy to you?" Zhao Ying didn't believe it. She had checked all the places the young Marquis frequented and found him here now. So he was like lie at home, but refusing to go out. She thought the young Marquis was still angry about the quarrel with Miss at Shanglin hunting grounds. But the young Marquis had always been kind to Miss. If the pages announced her, he wouldn't ignore Miss. Besides, Miss had been ill and hotter-headed then. The young Marquis should understand. The minister's mansion had started treating them differently. Knowing Miss was confined to the villa and couldn't leave, her monthly allowance was cut, and they stopped sending food, which she had to buy herself. When she went back to the mansion, the snobbish servants wouldn't even let her in the gate. Now short on money, she needs Ed to borrow some for daily necessities from the young Marquis. "Gentlemen, this is for your tea. Please go in and announce me." The gatekeeper page glanced at the single copper coins in her hands and couldn't help rolling his eyes. Was she treating them like beggars? "Fine," the page said impatiently. "Wait here. I'll go announce you." Zhao Ying breathed a sigh of relief, thanking him profusely and feelings reassured. Now she could buy beauty cream for Miss. The page went in, stopped where he couldn't be seen from the gate, and stood there for a while before coming back out. "Our young Marquis is busy. Leave now." Zhao Ying was stunned. "What did you say? The young Marquis won't see me? Did you tell him who I am? Can't you understand me? I've been tolerant because of you. We're the eldest's personal maid. But are you going to keep pestering me? Scram, or I'll call the police." Zhao Ying was pushed out, and the Marquis estate gate slammed shut. How could this be? The young Marquis knew she was here but refused to see her. Was he really ending their relationship because of the quarrel with Miss? It was so disheartening, especially since Miss had saved him. Zhao Ying clenched her fists and ran towards the villa. No, she had to tell Miss about this. Miss needs Ed to know the young Marquis couldn't be relied on. Sitting on his horse, Lu Jingyi raised his head slightly to watch Zhao Ying's retreating figures. That was Qiao Yihuan's personal maid. Lu Jingyi touched at his cheek. The side slapped by. Qiao Wanyan half an incense stick. Earlier, since she had hit him, he might as well take out his anger on someone else. At the villa, the two nannies guarding the gate dozed lazily in their chairs. It was an easy jobber. They got paid to relax at the gate every day. Much better than the hustle and bustle at the minister's mansion. The only downside was having to cook for themselves. At first, the minister's mansion sent daily meals, but later they stopped and just increased the monthly allowance, leaving them to buy and cook their own food. When the nannies heard movement and saw Qiao Yihuan come out of the house, they didn't even bother to stand and greet her. What kind of mistress was an unfavored eldest miss, abandoned by her father to fend for herself? Qiao Yihuan had been eating and sleeping poorly these days, expecting good news from Zhao Ying every 2 days when she went out, but none came. She hadn't truly expected Zhou Yu to succeed, but she still held out hope. If he did, she wouldn't have to take risks. If not, she still had a last-ditch plan. She only half believed what Yan Ran said about sacrificing herself to gain the crown prince's attention and compassion. The thought of dying too, achieving that worried her. What if she really died? Life was precious, and she didn't want to take such a risk unless necessary. When Zhao Ying returned, she tried to pull Qiao Yihuan inside, looking urgent, but they had only taken a few steps when someone knocked on the door. The nannies got up to answer it. Who is it? Opening the door, they saw a young page carrying a large box half the length and width of an arm. Who are you? The youth smiled politely. My master sent this for El Dest. The nannies looked back at Zhao Ying, approaching and asked curious Lai. Who is your master? The youth explained with a smile. Miss Zhao Ying here knows. Shortly after you left, our young marquis sent me to deliver this, saying it's good stuff Miss Zhao Ying wanted, along with some fine clothes. Please accept it. Mrs. Zhao Ying was taken aback, staring at the large box. In surprise, after a moment, she smiled. She knew the young marquis was too kind to ignore Miss. One should be grateful for kindness, and even a quarrel couldn't erase the fact that Miss had saved him. The good stuff the youth mentioned was sure Lai money. The box was large, like Lai containing enough silver to support her and Miss for a while, taking the box, which was quite heavy. Zhao Ying's smile grew wider. Thank you for making the trip. Come in for some tea? The youth waved his hands. No? No, I need to report back to our young marquis. He's worried, so I must hurry back to set his mind at ease. Zhao Ying nodded. Then I won't keep you. Take care. Watching the youth leave, Zhao Ying couldn't wait to open the box and see how much money was inside. But one of the nannies blocked her path. What's in there? Open it for us to see. Zhao Ying stepped aside, protectively. Why should I? This is from the young marquis too. My miss, if you dared to take it, don't blame me for going to the young marquis and having him teach you Allison. The other nanny pulled her aside. Forget it. Let her take it in, frowning. The first nanny didn't press further. If the young marquis had sent the package, it meant he was acquainted with and taken care of the eldest miss. If Zhao Ying complained, they might be in real trouble. They had lived in the capital 4 years and knew the young marquis' temper. Finding the box heavy, Zhao Ying carried it quickly into the house, then turned to close and bolt the door. Qiao Yihuan blinked her clear eyes. Zhao Ying, what's this? Zhao Ying smiled. The young marquis sent it. Qiao Yihuan looked surprised, but soon felt relieved. He still cared about her. Years of friendship were more reliable than the 10th princess. Miss, what's a quarrel between you and the young mark is? See, he knows you're suffering here and sent something. Don't worry. Round with the young marquis. You won't stay here forever. Qiao Yihuan was cheered by these words, a faint smile lifting her lips, but she had lost so much weight lately that the smile didn't fold its former beauty, only a tinge of bitterness. Zhao Ying eagerly opened the box, but the moment it was open, she let out a horrified scream and staggered back, nearly falling to the ground. Qiao Yihuan's face pallid, unsure what had frightened Zhao Ying so. What's wrong? What's in there? Curious, she leaned in to look, and a slippery red-headed snake lunged out, biting her neck. Our miss. The nannies jumped at the gate, the screams from inside, and ran over. But the door was bolted from within. They couldn't push it open to see what was happening. The newly freed venomous snake was content too. Stay in the box. It slid the red out, fell from the table, and the scene became terrifying. Zhao Ying was so scared that goosebumps covered her body, and she trembled all over. But she still mustered the courage to grab the snakes biting Miss' neck and throw it away without thinking. She pulled Kiao Yuan towards the door, but her legs were weak with fear. The short distance to the door felt endless, and it took her great effort to stagger over and unbolted. The two nannies stared at them pale-faced, with the eldest miss clutching her neck and her lips turning black out of the corner of their eyes. They saw colorful snakes on the floor and screamed, turning to flee, to panic, to care. They stumbled towards the minister's mansion, not daring to stop. Under a towering ancient trees in the distance, Lu Jinnu sat on his horse, tilting his head to watch the commotion. At the villa gate, seeing someone run out, he curled his lips into an awkward smile. It had been opened. Zhang Qian held a leverage over him. Didn't he, if he couldn't have peace? Neither could Zhang Qian. He wasn't interested in whether the mistress and maid inside lived or died. Even if they survived, they would be too terrified to sleep for days, fearing snakes would crawl into their beds. He grabbed the reins, kicked his horse's sides, and galloped away, leaving only a cold, distant silhouette. The two nannies dashed back to the minister's mansion, panting heavily. The gatekeeper page started in surprise. Nanny Zhang, Nanny Zhao, why are you back? Gasping for breath and clutching their stomachs, the nannies ignored him. After a moment's rest, they raced towards Qian Hall. Madam, a terrible thing has happened. They recounted the entire incident to Madame Jin, who furrowed her brow. Venomous snakes? Is Kiao Yihuan all right? Did the venom kill her? The nannies shook their heads. We don't know. We only saw that Miss Eldest was bitten on the neck. Her face was as white as a sheet, her lips black. She can save much time left. Madame Jin's pupils constricted. The young Marquis of Jing'an Estate sent venomous snakes to Kiao Yihuan? This was unheard of. From childhood to adulthood, Madame Jin had been well protected by Elder Jin before marriage and by Minister Kiao after. She had rarely witnessed the darkness, underhanded, sinister deeds of the world. Even when such matters arose, Minister Kiao resolved them clean, lie before she could learn of them. Though others looked down on Madame Jin's status as Amerchant's daughter, no one dared speak ill of her to her face, only behind her back. In other words, the delicate flower raised in a greenhouse was not Kiao Wanyan, but her mother. Madame Jin had clean hands, but Kiao Wanyan did not. Thus, learning of Zhang Qiyan's actions left her truly shocked. This exceeded her understanding. Send a physician. If she can be saved, save her. If not, inform the master. As for the snakebite, claiming it was a stray venomous snakes that crawled into the house, nothing to do with Jing'an Estate. There was no need to feud with Jing, an estate over Kiao Yihuan. After all, the young marquis was the estate's sonly heir, cherished like their lives, the blood. The estate would not hand him over easily. A servant acknowledged the order and left. Send someone who to find that page. Deliv read the package. Once found, prepare my horse. I'm going to Jing'an Estate. The Do-Rai nanny beside her asked hurried lie. Madam did it to say this has nothing to do with the estate? Why go there? Madame Jin replied. It has nothing to do with the estate. But I must make sure they know the minister. Smansion is doing them a favor. When Lu Jinyu returned, he saw Kiao Wanyan standing in the flower sea, a round fan held to her chest, bathed in golden light. The beauty emanated endless, magnificent charm amidst the blossoms, the soul unbounded by mortality. She blooms in the flower sea. In this moment, Lu Jinyu suddenly stood under. He wanted to live, but not merely for the sake of survival. Ziyuan took the food boxes from the horse and spread a large velvet blanket on the most scenic patch of grass. Where are the osmanthus cakes? Lu Jinyu said flatly, in my arms. Ziwan nodded at the slight bulge on his chest. Keeping them in his arms preserved the warm th, which was even though the best. Weather was warming into early summer. Lu Jinyu glanced at Zhang Qian, one eyebrow raised in good humor. Zhang Qian was lying under a tree with his legs crossed, eyes closed in lazy relaxation. He cracked one eye to shoot Lu Jinyu a glance. Little Lu fetched me a cup of tea. Lu Jinyu nodded. All right. He went to get the tea at once. Zhang Qian sat up abruptly, eyeing Lu Jinyu's decisive back with suspicion. This wasn't right. There must be a trick. When Lu Jinyu presented the tea, Zhang Qian hesitated to take it. Accepting tea this readily? The scoundrel must be up to no good. What did you put in this tea? Lu Jinyu smiled. I didn't know what you're talking about. What else would? Are in tea except tea leaves? Zhang Qian snorted at his untrust. Worthy smile. Do you take me for a fool? I won't drink this, but you will. His tone threatened. If Lu Jinyu refused, he would force it down his throat. Lu Jinyu raised an eyebrow, down the tea in one gulp, and even turned the cup upside down to show it was empty. Zhang Qian gaped. What? Did the stubborn fool leave his wits behind when he went out? Zhang Qian felt confused. Something was off, but he could put his finger on it. This wasn't like Lu Jinyu, who was stubborn even in front of Qiao. Wanyan, why was he being so obedient now? Aren't you thirsty? Why not drink? Watching Zhang Qian frowned in thought, Lu Jinyu took the teapot, poured another cup, and drank it clean in front of him. Then he poured a third cup and offered it to Zhang Qian. Only then did Zhang Qian relax and take the cup. He took a sip and spat it out immediately. The sprayed tea formed in atony rainbows. The air, quite beautiful. Lu Jinyu remarked, oh, a little rainbow. Zhang Qian shouted, why is this tea salty? What did you do to it? Lu Jinyu had drunk it too and showed no reaction. This tea must have a pounds of salt, enough to choke someone. Lu Jinyu shrugged, just added some salt. Don't worry, it's not poisoned. Didn't I drink it too? Zhang Qian laughed in anger. So it saw harm the enemy 1,000. Harm oneself 1,000 moves? Fine. He nodded. If I didn't beat you today, I'll take your surname. With that, he drew his whip from his waist and lashed out. Lu Qian, sounds nice. The two instantly fell into a brawl. Qiao Wanyan glanced over at the commotion, then turned away in disgust. Zhu Shujian said, second miss has stood for a long time. Why not eat something? Rest and paint later? Qiao Wanyan nodded. Ziwan, I want osmanthus cakes. Ziwan called out Lu Jinyu. No response. She shouted again, still no answer. Seeing the fierce fight, Ziwan didn't dare approach Lu Jinyu for the cakes. Fearing she might get hurt, instead, she dashed to the boat, found a gong from some corner, and ran back. Miss, cover your ears. After the warning, she approached the battlefield and struck the Adia Fenning Clang Rever berated, making everyone's heads buzz. Ziwan stepped forward as the fight paused. Give me the osmanthus cakes. Miss wants them. Dazed by the gong, Lu Jinyu instinctively took out the cakes and handed them over. Ziwan stepped back at once. Carry on. Qiao Wanyan found that ordinary food tasted exception allies delicious in the wild. Even the osmanthus cakes seem as extra sweet today, as if Sun Tian had added secret ingredients. Qiao Chuzu barely touched at her food. Qiao Wanyan asked offhand, no appetite? Qiao Chuzu forced a smile. I can eat much now. Staying here would only spoil your appetite. Please enjoy. I'll go swing for a while. Kia Wanyan wasn't kind to be. Considerate, she went to invite Zhou Yu, a useless fool she'd met only a few times, to eat with them, even if they'd met hundreds of times. Kiao Chuzu went to the swing. Young Master Zhou, may I use the swing for a while? Zhou Yu smiled and nodded, of course. He stepped aside, making no move to stand behind her. And push, how foolish. Why come now? Risking exposure of their acquaintance? Kiao Chuzu felt slightly disappointed, but reasoned he was avoiding suspicion for their grand plan. The mouth-watering aroma of food filled the air, sensitive to smells due to her pregnancy. Kiao Chuzu felt a sudden surge of nausea clutching her chest. She tried to tell her maid to stop pushing, but aviolent urges to vomit overwhelmed her before she could speak. She lost her grip on the ropes and flew off the swing with a scream. Ah! Zhou Yu's eyes widened, but instead of calling her name and rushing to help, he stole a glance at the others looking over, grateful for his composure. If he'd panicked, they might have noticed. Only then did he approach Kiao Chuxu, feigning without concern the genuine worry of all lovers. Kia Wanyan glanced over and turned away. Ziyuan, go check on her. She didn't move, nor did Zhang Qian and the others. They saw meds in. Different to whether Kiao Chuzu was hurt. Ziyuan went over. Are you all right? Miss Chuxu, did you break anything? If so, don't move. It could cause secondary injury. Kiao Chuxu clutched her stomach, too pained to speak. Cold. Sweat covered her pale face, her lips bloodless. Her maid saw the red stain on Kiao. Chuzu's closed and trembled, desperately trying to block Ziyuan's view. But Ziyuan noticed the abnormality at a glance. Why are you shaking? Move aside. The maid shook her head, and nothing. Could you please send for a cloak? Ziyuan didn't waste words. She grabbed the maid by the collar and pulled her aside. Seeing the red stain on Kiao Chuzu's clothes, Ziyuan shot her a look. Why hide this? Go get a cloak from the boat. Turning to Zhou Yu, she snapped. What are you staring at? Stand aside. If you breathe a word of this, the Kiao family won't let you off. Zhou Yu was intimidated. This Kiao Chuzu was bleeding. Had something happened to the baby? But why was second Miss Zhou's maid so calm? Did the Kiao family already know about the pregnancy? That didn't make sense. If they did, they've let her go out and would have interrogated her about the father. Zhou Yu awkwardly retreated. Ziyuan said, don't be afraid. Miss Chuzu, it's just your monthly cycle. No need to panic. No one here will talk. Your disgrace is the Kiao family's disgrace. Kiao Chuxu knew she was mistaken, but the pain was overwhelming. Shaking, she gripped Ziyuan's hand, consumed by the urge to save the baby. Ziyuan, find the physician. Please find the physician. I beg you, her intermittent words left. Ziyuan confused. This much pain? Worse than when Miss was ill? There was a physician on the boat. Once the maid brought the cloak, Ziyuan had attendants carrying Kiao Chuzu aboard. The physician, expecting ordinary menstrual discomfort, nearly collapsed to his knees after taking her pulse. Frowning, Ziyuan waved the attendants out of the cabin, leaving only Kiao Chuxu, her maid, and the Kiao family's physician. Speaking, what's wrong with Miss Chuxu? The physician looked at the fainted Kiao Chuzu in disbelief. Before he could speak, the maid knelt before him. My miss has coded the constitution. She always suffers so during her cycle. Please prescribe medicine for her. The physician clicked his tongue, Miss I, before he could finish. The maid pleaded urgently, physician. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. Please prescribe the medicine. I'll thank you on being half of my master and mistress. Ziyuan stepped forward, grabbed the maid by the hair, and stuffed a handkerchief into her mouth. She asked again, "What's wrong with her?" The physician dared not lie, though the maid begged. He served the minister's mansion, not the entire Kiao family. He whispered, "Miss Zhu has miscarried. The dead fetus must be removed immediately, or she'll die with the child." Ziyuan's seas widened, looking at the fainted, pale-faced Kiao Chixu. She was too shocked to speak. The physician added, "I can't handle this alone. We need a midwives, a hobby emergencies, medicine to stabilize her. But we must find a midwife quickly." Ziyuan thought for a moment, then struck the maid unconscious with the cuffs to the neck. "You know how important this is. Keep your mouth shut." The physician nodded repeated lie. "Don't worry, miss." Ziyuan hurried out and closed the door. Guard. Hearing no one enters or leaves. "Do your job, or you'll die." She dies as embarked and approached Kiao Wanyan. "Miss." At the soft call, Kiao Wanyan turned and let Ziyuan help her to the side, wiping her mouth with a handkerchief. She asked calmly, "What is it?" Ziyuan recounted everything the physician had said, omitting no details. Kiao Wanyan's misty eyebrows furrow, and as her deep eyes turned to the boat, "She doesn't want to live." Ziyuan whispered, "Should I dispose of her now?" Kiao Wanyan's seas were as cold as winter frost, devoid of any warmth. Terrifying life frigid, killing Kiao Chuzu would nip this matter in the bud fastest, disposing of all witnesses so her unmarried pregnancy would end. He implicated the Kiao family. This was also the most Ziyuan had prudent plans, devised after leaving the boat, which was why she hadn't sent an encrypted letter via carrier pigeons to the dock manager. Immediately, with the singling words from Kiao Wanyan, she would handle the matter aboard the boat, ensuring no news leaked. Kiao Wanyan ordered in a deep voice, "Send a carrier pigeons to the dock range. Another boat to take Kiao Zhu back. It must stay docked. Had a midwife tended to her there. After night fell, send her back to the ancestral mansion." She paused, adding the maids on the boat. Kiao Chexu's maid and the physician, "Make sure they keep quiet." Ziyuan understood perfectly. "Don't worry, miss. I'll handle it at once." Kiao Wanyan turned back calmly. She spared Kiao Chuzu not because they shared Kiao family blood, but to uncover her lover, who dared smear the Kiao family's reputation so brazen lie. Approaching the panicked Zhou Yu, she said, "She fell because she could unfold the rope. It has nothing to do with you. Don't be afraid. The Kiao family doesn't blackmail others." Zhou Yu knew she lied. Kiao Chuzu had bled, losing the baby, but he dared not contradict her. Nodding along, "Yes. Second miss is so reasonable. I feel reassured." Kiao Wanyan added, "This embarrassment would shame her. I hope you know what to say. If I find this came from your mouth, your whole family will be driven out of the capital." Zhou Yu nodded frantically. "Yes. Second miss, my lips are sealed." Satisfied, Kiao Wanyan left. Zhou Yu glanced at the boat, with the baby lost. Would Kiao Chuzu's emotional state sabotage his plans? Would she still help him get close to second Miss Zhou? Zhang Qian asked when she returned. "What happened? Is she badly hurt?" Kiao Wanyan sat calmly. "The physician says she broke a bone with her monthly. Cycling is making her uncomfortable. She fainted from the pain. I asked Ziyuan to arrange another boat to send her back." Zhu Shujian lowered his eyes, facing the swing. He'd seen the red stain on Kiao Chuzu's white dress covered by a cloak, so it was her cycle. But why clutch her stomach if her arm was hurt? Zhang Qiyun frowned. Why? Mention that is so loudly? Qiao Wanyan feigned confusion. Women have cycles. Is that shameful? Doesn't your mother have them? Your grandmother? Do you find it disgraceful? Zhang Qiyun blinked and shook his head. No, sorry, I spoke out of turn. Qiao Wanyan sipped sweet soup. Though preoccupied, she ate and rested leisure, lie before painting again, showing no suspicious signs, as the western sky turned a beautiful crimson at sunset. Zhu Shujian finished his painting. Lu Jin. Yiyu was used to accompany Qiao Wanyan, while Shenqing could sit quietly for hours, watching her painting. Only Zhang Qian couldn't stay still, catching fish, bickering with Qiao Wanyan, getting scolded, then repeating it. On the return trip, Qiao Wanyan saw the boat that had passed at noon was also heading back, now following hers. Aboard that boat, Eastern Palace officials were dizzy, eager to rest after a full day's discussing affairs. They wondered why the crown prince delayed returning, making them drink endless tea and rush to relieve themselves until nearly exhausted. Halfway, the boatman received orders to overtake and dock first. Zhang Qian, sulking on deck after another scolding, saw a boat suddenly overtook them. Not seeing anyone on its deck, he paid no heed until it docked and he spotted the crown prince. Ziyuan informed Qiao Wanyan at once, but she showed no excitement. Stepping off the boat, she saw the crown prince standing, with his hands behind his back, officials bowing before him. To reach the carriage, they must pass him and pay respects. Zhang Qian and others saluted, while Qiao Wanyan followed behind, fully blocked by the tall men. He Shiyu remained composed, though inwardly finding them bothersome. Zhang Qian said, "Your Highness, if there's nothing else, we'll take our leave." He Ziyu nodded indifferently. Qiao Wanyan didn't. He spoke or even glanced at him. As she passed, He Ziyu caught a faint fragrance. He resisted looking at her, but scanned her back. Suddenly Lu Jinyu felt dizzy, staggering, and nearly collapsing. His iron will kept him from falling limp, but his consciousness faded. He knelt, held on for a moment, then collapsed unconscious. All looked at him. Qiao Wanyan realized, what had he done to Qiao Yihuan? What could make him faint after staying with her for so long? Zhang Qian nearby checked his pulse. Zhu Shujian asked, "Young Marquis, what's wrong with Sirlu?" Zhang Qian replied, "He poured too much salt water for me." Qiao Wanyan ordered Lu Jin, Yiyu sent back. Sensing footsteps behind her, she marched to the carriage without a word. He Ziyu stopped, watching her back with obscure eyes are inside the carriage. The windows stayed shut, blocking their views. Ziyu onboarded and tapped the carriage wall. "Miss, Lu Jin Yiyu is usually healthy. Why did he faint suddenly?" It felt like when Qiao Wanyan rubbed her thumb, he probably acted without orders. Disobedient dogs needed lessons, but what had he done? Why faint now after returning? Had he delayed Qiao Yihuan's death? Or was Qiao Yihuan no longer favored by the so-called heaven? If the latter, had she done evil deeds, ceasing to be the pure and kind of daughter of heaven? In Yongju, when she fainted, she'd ask the mist, if Qiao Yihuan became wicked, would heaven still favor her? The mist didn't answer, but she DM'd it 90% likely now. It saw Qiao Yihuan would die too. Just take time. Wait for her to become wicked and lost heaven's protection. Qiao Wanyan looked at Lu Jin Yiyu in the corner when she'd ordered him to pierce Qiao Yihuan's holder with the barbed arrows. He'd been fine, but she'd fainted. This time, she hadn't ordered him, so she was fine. Two possibilities. waiting for Qiao Yuan to lose heaven's favor and kill her, or let others try to kill her, testing heaven's favor without implicating herself. Should we tell Lu Jinyu when he wakes? What if the fainting worsens until he can wake up? Qiao Wanyan smiled. Why tell him? Lu Jinyu was her good blade, protecting her normally, even sacrificing himself to test heaven's favor. For Qiao Yuan, she could have as many martial arts prodigies as she wanted. If the Lu Jinyu from the story, meant to help Qiao Yuan abuse her, died by Qiao Yuan's hands, that was his fate. Closing her eyes to rest, she suddenly slapped her thighs halfway. Ziyuan dozing jolted awake. What's wrong? Miss, what happened? Qiao Wanyan groaned. It's all Qiao Shuxu's fault. I forgot to teach Shenqing. Lesson today, push him off the boat. So frustrating, Ziyuan clicked her tongue. There will be another chance, miss. Qiao Wanyan sighed fine. Returning to Jing'an Marquis Estate, Zhang Qiyun found his parents smiling. In the pavilion, they pulled him in, fawning over him, making him shiver. What's this? Did you secretly have a brother? I mean, a sister? The Marquis glared. Nonsense. A father waits for his son to return from play. Normal. Did you have fun today? The Marchioness added. My son has finally seen sense. What would you like me to cook? She'd never approved of Qiao Yuan, bewildered by Zhang Qiyun's obsession, sending silver gifts evening visiting to thank her for saving his life, acting like her servant, though his recent deeds sounded absurd. They were relieved. Zhang Qiyun studied their faces. Something was very wrong. He racked his brain for misdeeds, but found nothing extreme enough to make them acting so kindly, testing the waters. He asked, did you find out Mother ate a fox in the backyard? The Marchioness's smile froze. Or that he burned father's treasured asterisk autumn and moonlight asterisk paintings? The Marquis's face changed, but he forced a smile. Or that I beat Grand Preceptor Joe's grandson, and they complained? Or that I ate the ancestral shrine offerings and broke second grandfather's stablet? You brat, you want to die. The Marquis snatched his whip and lashed out. Zhang Qiyun dodged behind his mother. Mother, save me. Father will kill me. The Marchioness stepped aside calmly. Your father works hard. As the last sunset rays faded, Jing'an Estate echoed Ed with astral screams. Meanwhile, Qiao Wanyan sent someone to inquire about Qiao Yuan, confined to the villa since Shanglin hunting grounds, with Lu Jinyu collapsing. She must have encountered trouble too. Tao Hua, a second classmate from Yongning Pavilion, closed the door and whispered. Miss the nanny said the young Marquis sent a box via Appage, claiming it was the good stuff Zhao Ying wanted. They tried to see it, but Zhao Ying threatened them with the young Marquis. Once inside, she bolted the door, then screams came. When they opened the door, there were snakes everywhere, and Miss Eldest clutched her neck. Pale with black lips, they ran back to report. Qiao Wanyan's eyes narrowed. Bitten by venomous snakes. Is she dead?